Hey, Jerry.
It's amazing what he got.
We don't have them right.
Somebody's gonna hang it back.
Yeah.
Just because that.
Okay, we're good. We're online and.
President Terry, just for the record, we went through executive session, discussing potential litigation over borough property as well as discussing labor issues and hiring process for
Okay, thank you. First item on our agenda is the approval of our agenda. Do we have a motion to approve? the
I'll make a
agenda?
motion.
Thank you, Jean, a second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Kathleen. On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Favors have it 7-0. The next is approval of the minutes of our February 25th, 26th work session. Our March
Motion to
4th.
approve.
Second.
On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Favors have it. The next item is our March 4th, 2026 council meeting. We have a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed? Favors have it. And the last is our March 25th work session. Do we have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Thank you,
Aye.
Josh. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Gina. On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Favors have it 7-0. Next item on our agenda is our public comment. So if anybody would like to take the podium,
And President Terry, would just prior to public comment, I would just ask the public to adhere to the public participation that's been posted in the front door. Just follow those rules as they're posted.
is that a 5-minute?
There's seven rules. Just state your name, step into the podium. 5 minutes of uninterrupted minutes. Okay, I got my tongue. And then, any person with the right to raise an objection at any time for perceived violation of the policy.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, we, someone like to address Allison?
I'll go first. Stand at the podium.
Sure.
I'm Allison Hall. I live in Glenburn technically, but the reason I came today is to discuss what Clark Summit's role would be in the Memorial Day Parade. Because I wanted to work with the VFW and expand it a little bit, make it a little bit better. Because it's just been really kind of falling off the last couple of years. So most of my questions were answered prior to the meeting starting with Jerry and Jean. But I think that the only question that I didn't get answered is how long does PennDOT close the road? And is it a PennDOT thing? Because Mike McLean brought that up in our conversation. Like, do we have to be off the road by a certain time? He was concerned that PennDOT only closes the road for X number of time.
I think it's till the end of the parade.
He thought it was an hour, but so if there's no Park Summit knowledge of that, nobody in the.
You have to apply for a permit and Mike, he's good at doing it. He'll come to my office, get the paperwork, goes upstairs, I think you guys get it upstairs, permit. Goes
Right.
back down to me and then, it's a permit. And I don't think they're like concerned about certain things. It's usually Memorial Day, what's on Memorial Day, so it's a
Yeah.
holiday. And we've been managing it for years and years and years and years.
So to your knowledge, there really isn't a time limit?
It's not a time limit, I mean, it usually lasts about a half hour or so, would that be accurate, I would think?
Oh, it's an hour at least.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, fire trucks and
I mean, it
everything.
starts at 11
Yeah.
at the
I
top of
always
state.
forget the timing,
Yeah.
I don't usually think it's a problem, we have a system that we use.
His concern was, he wants to start the ceremony up at the VFW at 12:15 promptly,
Right.
and that's fine. And when he talked to me about it, he said, the parade should be over by then, which is fine. That's a lot of time to have the parade. But I had a lot of requests, and with his permission, I made a Facebook post about it, and I had a lot of requests for people to put them in their groups and, civic groups. There were about half and half civic groups and some private businesses, but Jerry and I are gonna speak to him about that.
We'll have a meeting with.
We'll
him.
have a meeting up at the VFW, he said like
Everything.
maybe at the end of next week, so,
Absolutely.
okay.
So we'll get that totally resolved.
Okay. Thanks,
Thank you
everybody.
very much, Allison, for your.
And I'm gonna go, cause I turn into a pumpkin.
Bye. Do you have anyone else who would like to address council?
Sorry, I couldn't hear, what was that?
Would you like to address council?
Hello? How you doing tonight? Yeah, so, just like last week we discussed, we went through the planning process, planning commission, zoning for, building our building on Center Street, 423 Center Street, 25-unit building. So,
And the last check mark is actually gonna happen tomorrow. They're gonna sign the easement, the stormwater easement paperwork. It's all been clarified by today and, but they have to actually physically sign it. So, as I understand it, council is able to vote if you choose to approve this with that caveat that the stormwater easement, must be signed.
Okay.
there's just a quick little amendment that was done to pick it up tomorrow.
Right.
Okay.
And that is on the agenda tonight.
Okay. Well, we can actually move that up now.
Sure, if you'd like to.
I'll make a motion that we approve the conditional use for 423 Center Street conditional on the stormwater easement being signed.
I'll second. Thank you, Steve. On the question, I guess you're here to answer it. We have no questions for you, but
I've answered a lot of questions. I'm here to ask.
it's going in a good direction, so we're really happy.
Very excited for it too.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.
Okay, all in favor? All opposed? Favors have it. Thank you.
You did it.
The council just-
Hello. And of course, if you don't know, Mike Perry, I am, I guess, looking for, your final blessing on the plans that we had put forward on the clock. And I think we have all of our I's dotted and T's crossed. I don't know if there's any questions on what our plan is to do with the clock tower and the plaque. I have a lot of people that have stepped up, our local businesses, so it's extremely heartwarming. To see the support that we have locally. So I guess we just need the final approval. And the blessing from the council.
So Mr. Perry, I did see the email that you sent, so.
Yes.
Right now, the Fazio family would prefer memorial to be at the pocket, is that correct?
I think in light of everything going on, we kind of, really kind of asked ourselves, what would Laura want? And she spent the first 25 years out here at the clock. With that still up in the air on the negotiations with the Deckers and what's going on, it's kind of three separate issues. So the family is in favor of pulling the plaque off with the clock, taking the clock with it, refurbishing the clock, painting it black, setting the clock, doing all of the land work and all of the beautification. We have the blessing from the Maria family. We have the blessing from the Rotary. We have the
From the Rotary? From the Rotary, did they give you authorization for that?
Yes, Chris Loftus spoke with Jeff DeFazio. And Chris said that Chris had told Jeff that they did not, that they don't own the clock, that they just raise money for the clock. It's actually the borough's clock.
Correct. It is.
Yeah, and he had said, that they were, had no opposition for us taking the clock and using it, incorporating it into Laura's monument. And, you know, like I said, I've had people say, why would you want to use that old clock? And I said, well, the symbolism is uncanny, being that it was designed in 1984. Laura and I, we all graduated in 1984.
Right, we know all
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
But you only have so much time.
I understand.
And Mr. Perry, just to
Yes.
follow up though. So you have, it looks like you have people Northeast Rigging, Redline Trucking and Trailer, Era Supplies, Perry Monuments, Landscaping. You would be able to move the clock from the Decker property into the Pocket Park and
Yeah, it would be.
you would take care of all the costs?
Yes, this is all, we're not looking for borough, we're just looking for the blessing. You know, we're gonna raise funds on our own. Bob Murphy with Northeast Rigging is already, you know, donated the expense of taking the clock down. We would then take it over to his brother Mike's place, Redline Towing, where that they would take a couple months to actually sandblast it and paint it, it'd be professionally painted and refurbished. The clocks will be set at the 4 impact times to the clock, from 9/11. And then we would, place, the clock as the plans that we had sent back.
So there'll be no cost to the taxpayers. You would take care of moving the clock and you do take care of the refurbishing of the clock?
Yes.
How much time would you need to do that?
Well, like I said, we want to have everything done before September 11th. Actually, the first week of September, so that it's up and going and that before the 25th anniversary. I'm also the organizer for the All 80s Decade Reunion. We're having a reunion of 12 classes on June 6th. So there will be a lot of alumni and classmates coming in from out of town. Hopefully Jeff DeFazio will be one of them. And then that way, if they, be able to see the clock in the statue before we take it down. So I'm thinking ideally that the week right after, we could move it down. Something between the Deckers and the Borough, and it needs to come down sooner, so be it. If it's a wish list, I'm just telling you ideally what I'd like. And then that way, Redline Truck and Trailer would have the ability, almost a 2.5 month process that they would have. Because Mike said that he'd able to do it, but yet, it's not something we can drop off on Friday and pick up on Monday. So giving them the time to be able to,
So you think the clock tower would be out of the property like no later than Labor Day of this summer?
Oh, definitely. Oh, like when I say that they need probably 2 months to actually to work on it. I mean, it's, when you're doing something like that, not that it would take 2 months to do it, but giving them time to refurbish and paint and restore it so that when it goes back, that it's actually not an eyesore, that it's something beautiful that we can all be proud of.
The DeFazio family and other people they're gonna also put money into the Pocket Park. They're gonna try to make it look a little nicer.
Yes, and everything from even an official name, because it's the Finish Shop Pocket Park. There's no name plate on the park, and actually a plaque in the park someplace to honor the Maria family and the donation that they made to our community, donating the piece to the borough in the first place.
Thank you.
So Mike, I think, I think we had some discussion on this topic in executive session, and then we're gonna have some things to vote on here coming up about what we're gonna do with that property and the clock tower on it. I personally am very intrigued by the idea that you've put together. And I hope it can come to fruition. I won't speak for anybody else in council. I think there's
Yeah.
open-mindedness to it, but I think there are some steps that we have to go through toward that end. And so I think it's, to make sure that we feel comfortable in turning over possession of it to you, we would want to have an agreement in place that governs that and the liability associated. And that's gonna have to be something that, we would vote on at our next meeting next month. So I think one of the takeaways from here is to get to work on that.
Yeah.
So that we could have something to consider. I think on the back end, there's gonna have to be, a step in the process as well to basically, determine whether or not we feel comfortable with that coming back onto borough property. I think there's you know, personally, I think it likely can be done and satisfied any concerns we might have, but that's another step in the process. So those are the things I think that we will need to work through, to ultimately get it on the, you know, in the condition you propose in the Pocket Park. I think the immediate next step then is for our solicitor to, you know, follow up with you and talk about what an agreement might look like to turn over possession.
Yeah.
To get the process started.
And then also realizing that's why I think the June date actually works in good, because that gives us now, you know, 2 months, if not a little longer, to go through all those, processes and everything that needs to be finalized and settled up and agreed upon and discussed.
Yeah, I think there's time. There's just several steps to work through. So it's more, you know, I don't think we can, so quote unquote, give a blessing. I think we are willing to move to the next step so that we have something to consider. And then there are just things that we have to, you know, approve along the way to get to the end.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
I get it. So I guess I'm looking for the first blessing of the first approval. Go on.
I think that's,
I mean, and if
That's
somebody has, you know, I mean, if there are objections to say that we don't want, you know, we're opposed to the idea of this coming back in, you know, let us know now. I mean, if we need to change plans or direction or whatever, you know, we're more than willing to work with anyone.
I think the primary things that, you know, that I would want to have satisfied for it to come back into the Pocket Park, or how are we going to handle, you know, any liability associated with it? That's something we would need to address. How is the maintenance going to be handled of it? You know, if it's restored and is in very good condition, that's wonderful. It was in very good condition and new once here too, and the maintenance of it, you know, became a problem over time.
Yeah.
So those are some of the things that I think we would just want to address in, you know, an agreement to place it.
Oh, understanding. And I think the maintenance, you know, you guys already take care of the park, you know, because when it goes back in, it's just like, it's not like that we're looking to set up a private group that's gonna come in and, you know, of course, things will be taken care of, but yet, you know, it, yes, still will be borough property. It's still just like kind of now. I mean, you know, the plaque is, I don't exactly know, you know, if the plaque is the property of the borough, if it's property of the Fazio family, or if it's the property of the Laura Lee's memorial. I know that was also funded by the public, by the community. So I would think it would be something that would be owned by the community, in the end, you know, just as the Pocket Park is owned by the borough, you know, that's still, we felt that also we needed Maria's blessing on it, because they were the ones that donated it. I thought it was only proper to make sure that we reached out and we made sure that they were, you know, all in.
And I think those are additional things we'd look for guidance from our solicitor on, is any of those kinds of things to make sure that they're agreed in writing.
So I think legally right now, we're at step 1, you're talking about like step 8. So we just have to get through step 1 first, because there hasn't even been a vote on what council's doing with the clock tower at this point. So once council votes on that, then we can move on to discussing any potential for the moving of the clock tower, or, you know, the plans that you've provided to the council.
Yeah, and, you know, ideally that's, you know, and who knows, if it takes 5 or 6 months to get to that step, then so be it, and then we can celebrate the 25th exactly where it is right now. And then we could move for that point for after. I mean, this isn't like something that, you know, I understand that trying to decide on exactly what we want to do, but, you know, it's still a fluid plan.
But we're on a time limit when we have to have the clock down and the cement down because we're there. So we're on a really short window there.
Okay, so then
So that's why we're working it out though.
okay, so then, like, I guess was notice given to remove everything, and are you underneath the 90-day?
We're working on that.
That's
No, there's been no notice.
nothing yet.
Yeah, well,
It's on our
then,
agenda
that's,
tonight to discuss, so.
okay,
stay
no,
tuned.
and that's what I'm here for, is to discuss, and if there's anybody else has any other questions, or,
I'm just comfortable with the step process for safety issues.
okay,
And it is so it's just the safety issues of the concern. So the step process. And
yeah, well,
comfortable with our
just
solicitor.
be assured that when it comes back on, that right now, the clock is up, you know, 6 feet off the ground, 5 feet off the ground, And the securement to the concrete pillars are, you know, are 40 years old or whatever, how old, you know, it's 40 years.
Yeah.
When it goes down, it'll be secured with new cement, new in the ground, and it'll be at a much lower, so, you know, a kid climbs up on it and, you know, falls, you know, that, then again, they could climb up on the gazebo and fall too. Kids will be kids. You know, but- So anyway, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you. The next is our police report.
We're still, doing aggressive driving, Ken, and UI, control, we should work on that. We got our one move, part-time, officer up and running, still doing some training with her yet. That, she did good, we're just training, you gotta read the policy manual, she got some homework to do.
And I got
Here, have a nice day.
And we're doing well with that.
Don't forget the mask. You gotta sign down.
Thank you. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
And it's really, kind of, I'm missing, that's not what you say. I'm just going, I'm gonna try to walk.
So the OLP, SRO, Joe Random, you're good with that? You feel
I'm
comfortable?
very good with that. I talked to, listening to, Koyak about it. As long as it's language in there, and I think the school understands that if we're not hiring a full-time person, this is gonna be a part-time officer who works there at OLP, and, it's, I'll be filling, you know, they can work the hours that they're able to work it. There's gonna be a lot of times we're not gonna be up there working, and we won't build them. We're gonna build them for hours that they work. And we won't build them for hours. So I think there's a good understanding of that. Is that your?
So that's my understanding. The only thing that we are waiting for is when I drafted the agreement for the services to be provided, that basically outlined that the chief is in control of the hours. It covers us, it gives a delineation of how many hours per week, and that was reviewed by the school. We're just waiting for them to sign that. I spoke with their solicitor. Once that's signed, we should be good to go, but that gives us the protection to allow the chief to control it and kind of puts more of an emphasis on the actual duties and responsibilities of each party. So the MOU kind of covers us from a liability standpoint and what this SRO is going to be doing. Whereas the services contract essentially outlines the cost that they're going to be paying us for that officer, how much per year, how much per hour, as well as providing the addendum in there that the chief will have the say. So that way we're not stuck into a corner where
Right.
they're expecting someone in the school for 7 hours a day when the chief is short-staffed. So once that's signed, that'll be the addendum to the MOU. So I spoke with the solicitor as early as today on that, and once that's signed by the school, I think, just from a legal standpoint, I think we sign them both at the same time at the next meeting, we should be good to go, just because we're still providing services, right, chief, with them, like having a part-time officer at the school right now.
We don't do it that way. We, the guys on shift, they'll ask us. I think they have a service. So
Yeah, they have masses on Friday.
And we, I limit that, except we're supposed to patrol up there 6 hours a day. So I mix it in with that miscellaneous, patrol. And I did speak to, Mayor Clark's Green, was okay with that. We try to, limit that, but it's usually like an hour a week or so of school. That's not a lot. They want a lot more, but I don't mind giving them time that we patrol there anyway. But I think the agreement would be much better. Thing. They want a lot more. So I like to think they're happy with our service because we're always Johnny on the spot for them, when there's a problem, I try to get up to right away. Schools, as you know, and Park Summit Elementary Schools as well as a high priority, it's our biggest priority we have. Considering what's going on in society, there's a problem there, I like to get it addressed right away. I think there's no more bigger safety issue than school itself. And the same in all, please, is not, they're not exempt. I agree with myself.
Yeah.
I like to think we're happy with their services, and I think they understand, the predicament they're, well, not just our predicament, their predicament too. Because at the present time, they can't afford to hire a full-time school resource officer. So they can take what they can get, you know, and that's their attitude. They like to see a lot more presence up there, but we can't give them. I don't wanna spend a whole time here. It's not fair to the other residents in Clark's Green, while we're up there at the school 4 or 5 hours a day and not patrolling at night or evening hours. So try to give them what we can. And like I said, Clark's Green mayor and even the council themselves, I aware of this.
It sounds like we're gonna be able to help them without watering down our services or protection.
Right, and that's the whole plan. I mean, ideally, if about to your words, like, if we get this agreement signed, I can put an additional office right there at the school. And we can build the school for those hours, and they would reimburse the borough, and the borough would make some money off it too. And then, you know, an administrative cost, that would be, and then that would alleviate that you just said, where we'd go focus our hours on Clark's Green, they contract with them exclusively, we could have an extra, so we get an extra person on the ship up in the school. Part-time.
Exactly.
And so your recommendation is that we consider both of these together next month?
I think it makes sense to consider both together. That way it gives us the protection of them not being able to come back and say, someone's not here today, and, you know, this allows us to give it to not only the staffing of that, but it also is the protection of the outline rating, or the rating. That's a yearly type thing, so we're not bound to it indefinitely.
At presently, we only have one officer that's able to work there. Spoke to, she's certified in both the basic and advanced school resource officer certified through the Indiana University in Pennsylvania. So, she worked at the school on trail. She's got some experience as well as the certification to state to do this stuff.
That worked out very. Thank you. Does anybody have any other questions for the chief?
You had civil service update applicants. How many applicants do we have?
5.
5. Good.
Yeah.
That's great.
Okay, well, we'll leave it up to the mayor. If you want to-
Did we ever deal with just the working thing or that's for both?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I'll update you tomorrow. But yes, we have a resolution to it.
We don't want to return. We don't want.
Well, we're trying to figure it out. You know, it was a legal issue that I think.
Yeah, they talked to John about that.
We got
Well, if
it.
there's nothing else from the audience or the table here. for Chief, may leave.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Happy Easter.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, happy Easter.
I'll be staring at that all day long. Let's see if my wife recognizes me in the picture.
Thank you.
So we're gonna work on that.
We still have our security with us tonight, do we?
Circuit events on top of it.
Okay, the next, item of bids and quotes, and you don't have any. Jen.
No, I'm so sorry. I apologize, no.
Okay, the next is, your treasurer report.
That's not available because today is the 1st, so he'll have both
Oh,
of those
Exactly.
for the next
okay.
meeting. But
Thank
we
you.
do have the vendor payments.
Okay, the next one, vendor payments to be ratified.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
Thank you, Jean, on the question. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Favors have it. Under all business, our clock tower. We gone over that issue. I think it, my theory, we covered all the bases we have to cover on that as far as,
Do we need to, though, vote on some of the options we discussed earlier?
Yes. So I think that, obviously it's close to, I think that council can vote on how to proceed with the, negotiations with Mr. Decker on how to proceed with the, clock tower, which is borough property, on Mr. Decker's property, as well as how to handle the easements that we entered into, in 1986. So council can, you're able to vote on that this evening or have discussion relative to that.
I would just like to put a little background on the record regarding the negotiations. They have been going on for a long time. I think we have to give a lot of credit to our solicitor, Beliak, for his involvement in this. There was good faith negotiations. There was offers, counter offers. Unfortunately, it seems as if there is a little bit of a monetary divide. And I think the council doesn't really have an appetite to continue on with that property. But I think both parties entered into it in good faith and really tried to work well in order to maintain the property and find a resolution. And I think, again, Solicitor Kroyak deserves a lot of credit for that.
Okay, thank you.
I think that's a good summary of where we're at, Bob. And, you know, in light of that, I would make a motion that you tell me if I'm framing this correctly, but make a motion and authorize you to serve notice to Mr. Decker that we will proceed with removing and restoring to its original condition that property, and terminate the easement that was dated 1986, I believe it was.
Yes,
Anything to add to that?
I think that would be the first motion, so I think that's a good place to start.
My only one concern again is I think we don't have to discuss this or negotiate anymore with Mr. Decker, but I do have concerns about what we're going to do with the clock tower. Where's that going to go? And based upon the what Mr. Perry was saying, it seems like there's viable options in order to maintain the clock tower, to restore it to some of its full finer glory and incorporate it in the Laura Lee DeFazio Marabito Memorial. So that would be my concern. I don't have any objection to not talking to Mr. Decker anymore, but I do have some concerns about taking down the clock tower.
I think, you know, I want to leave my motion as is, but I think we should follow after we vote on that with a discussion and perhaps another motion to do something about what happens next.
And legally, it would logically flow to address that as well, with Councilmember Shields brought up, because the clock tower is borough property. So once removed,
Correct.
if council votes that way, we would have to determine what, if anything, to do with borough property, which would be that clock tower.
Right.
Do you think we can do that in two different motions, or should I revise my
I
motion to
believe
address
it
that?
should be two different motions, because first we determine whether or not we are going to actually restore that property to the original condition and remove it. If that is voted upon the affirmative, then we can determine whether or not what to do with that clock.
Yeah, okay.
Go ahead, Josh.
The
if you want to make a
motion as-
motion.
As I can't repeat what I said.
On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? You're a no, Bob?
No.
Okay. Steve?
Steve? Oh,
I think that's not the guy.
Perfect.
we can't hear you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
that was clear.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's a 6-1.
So on the topic of what we do next, I think, you know, President Kerry shared that we have a potential option from
Mike Noto, he has volunteered to take down the clock tower and remove everything, the cement, everything, and take it all away. He would like to do this as a donation to Clark Summit Borough because he said he works very well with Clark Summit Borough. I'd like to do this. And I don't think we would have a liability there as far as him coming and doing.
Well, I would think we would still need an agreement with him.
Oh, definitely.
And so
Sure.
my feeling is this, my feeling is we're serving notice where we have 90 days at minimum.
Exactly.
Therefore, we should, over the next month, work on our options and to include agreements that we can consider to take the next step. One of those could be with Mr. Noto to proceed with the removal. Another could be with Mr. Perry to allow them to remove, to allow his group to remove the clock tower. and take it under their possession. I think both of those options should be pursued and work toward having some agreements with those parties that we can consider next month.
Yes, I think at the next meeting too, if, I know Mr. Perry spoke this evening in past meetings, if council does intend to donate or gift that to allow the restoration as described by Mr. Perry, there has to be a vote on that because it would be borough property that we would be transferring over to a third party. So that could be a vote at the next meeting to allow him to proceed in the fashion of restoration that you described at the next meeting.
So do we need a motion to ask to that effect, to ask you basically to pick those conversations up with both parties?
I would suggest having a motion to allow us to reach out to Mr. Perry and that group that has this plan for the agreement on the pocket park relative to the liability, the maintenance, et cetera, and kind of going forward to allow me to have those negotiations and determine how we're going to proceed.
I'll make a motion then authorizing you to contact Mr. Perry and his associated groups and individuals to work out potential terms involved with his plan as he's presented it, as well as to draft an agreement with Mr. Noto to restore the property to its original condition, potentially to include removal of the clock tower if that's not included in the other potential agreement.
Yes.
The motion's a little, I mean, it's a little complicated.
So just, I think a motion to allow me to negotiate with Mr. Perry relative to taking possession of the tower in the future. I think would suffice based on what's in the record.
And that will be at our next meeting on the agenda,
Anything that comes of that would be on
like.
an update and or something to consider would be on the next agenda.
And then would there be a motion for the next meeting then for Mr. Noto, once we get that in writing relative to the electric box? Because would that be, we'd be thinking for all
We would want to
funds
have
for
it
that,
all
correct?
done
Let's
basically.
do this in a couple pieces then. Let's, first, I will revise my motion to say, authorize you to follow up with Mr. Perry to discuss terms of an agreement toward the, project he's described.
I'll second that.
To discuss terms of an agreement.
What's your thoughts on this, Gene, as far as,
Well, my feeling is, and I feel like scrapping it, but I'd want an engineer to look at it first before they make that decision.
well,
I mean, we're not.
Noto
If
is an engineer.
Mike Noto wants it, Mike Noto is an engineer, but if he takes it down, I'm sure he can make that determination at the time.
Right, and he may say it's a liability or safety concern.
Just looking at it, he didn't think it was viable.
And that's why I'm comfortable doing it in steps, because that can happen and.
I don't think there's any rush relative to the conversation between Mr. Perry and the group as far as the stability or the durability of the clock tower. I think that's kind of separate and apart. I think right now what has to be focused on is there's a vote to remove the clock tower and restore that property. There has to be a vote if we're gonna authorize Mr. Noto to expend borough funds for the removal of, if there should be any cost associated with that. There has to be a vote on that. I think at the next council meeting, once we have that in writing.
So the motion right now is specific to discussions with Mr. Perry.
Correct.
And it was seconded by Bob, yes, so
I second
we need to call it
All
first.
in favor?
So we don't need a further motion right now to do anything with Mr. Noto. We need to get a quote from him basically, and
We put that in the next meeting to vote on that, so that we have a number, there
Sure.
may be funds associated with that are getting spent. So long as we have that in writing, it would be a bids and quotes.
Yeah.
We can vote on that in the next meeting. In the interim, once I reach out to Mr. Decker, we'll have 90 days to get that done, so long as Mr. Noah is aware of that. The time constraints that we are under as far as the removal and restoration.
Exactly. Next item on our agenda is our West Grove Street sidewalks. Know you on that?
I sent that to Abington Heights, so we can get that back. And hopefully it's not an issue for the next month with any snow removal from West Grove Street. And once they are okay with that and have that signed, we should be able to pay the bill on that.
Exactly.
A meeting and fingers crossed that it's not. Okay.
Next is our recycling for drainage. We discussed this at our work session, Jim,
Yes. Just need council to approve.
and it's definitely saving the girl quite a bit of money.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Jean. Do we have a second? Okay, on the question, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Thank you. Open container ordinance. We did want to talk to the chief about
Yes.
this, so.
We overlooked that.
You address that further,
You know what, Jen, we could actually, table that until we can sit down
I think we
with the
need,
chief and go over
we need his
that.
input there, no,
Okay,
because he was gonna look into that.
sure. Okay, the next item is, 2026 paving list.
Really hard to see. But we were talking about just paving Clark, finishing the work on Clark.
So what do we need a motion to do here to?
Advertise,
Advertise?
to advertise.
Do we
with
need to
a-
be specific that we're including only the Clark project in that advertisement?
It's, if you, it can't hurt, I would say.
that would be, because there's two of them, correct?
Well, we just have these options from, we have these options from the engineer.
I think the motion should be which paving, which street you're gonna advertise.
Well.
I'll make a motion then that we advertise to solicit bids for the Clark Avenue paving project.
I'll second that.
Okay, on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
We're not gonna do the other roads this year, or is that?
Correct.
So it's just gonna be one road.
Correct, yep, finishing Clark.
I'll just say on that topic that I really think we've got to find a way to increase our budget for paving next year. There's a lot of deferred maintenance going on our roads.
Yeah.
And when it comes budget time, we really have to find a way.
Next item is the replacement for Chief Yarns.
So I know we've had some discussions. My feeling is we think it would be a good idea to advertise the position. I know we have a wonderful police department here. We have 4 really great officers. But I don't think it hurts to have a wide net, to see if there's any potential applicants out there. The budget for the police department is over $1 million. It's approximately 1/3 of our budget. We owe it to our residents to see if we can find the best applicant. If that best applicant is one of our officers here in Clark Summit, that's great. But I think it wouldn't hurt to go out there and see if there's any other applicants who may be interested. There's a saying, and politics, and when you hire, so in the old days, it was hiring, and it's, we don't want nobody sent. And that effectively means that if you're not known, or you're somebody who's not connected, then the job's not for you. And I think that's something we need to try to get away from. I know other municipalities, the county has tried to do that. So I think that's something we need to take into account when we go forward with the process. So my suggestion would be that we have advertise the position, find the best applicant, and do what's best for the taxpayers and public.
I feel otherwise. I feel as though we should hire from within. I believe it's better for the morale. And I think we have a pretty good candidate right now, the one I have in mind, but and that's the way I feel. I think it would be an unnecessary expense when we have that person right here.
I think, I said before, and I'll say again, I could go either way. I'm inclined often to agree with what you said, Bob. I think In this particular case, though, I've spoken to Chief Yarns, he spoke to us about it, I think, quite a bit. And I am compelled by which is that, you know, the best case is to vote an officer that is already in our department, that our personnel get along well with, that knows the borough inside and out, if we have such a candidate. And we do have such a candidate. And so while in general, I do agree that, you know, there's no harm in that, I also think it presents us with any benefits in this case. I'm of the opinion, therefore, and I don't think this is nepotism. I think this is recognizing that an internal candidate, if you have a good one, is preferable to an external candidate. And we do have a good one. And so I'm comfortable moving forward with pursuing that internal.
Thank you. Question?
So I guess how do you want a motion to
Yeah,
do the hiring?
oh,
Do we,
we don't have.
I mean, well, I didn't make a motion because I'm unsure exactly what to make the motion. We do not have a formal applicant. So motion from internal candidates. Would that be an appropriate next step?
I think that'd be an appropriate motion for that. That's something we keep you guys. I think the motion should be to, the motion was to hire from outside to open the process up to. So the motion should be to accept applications from within the police department. Open up Chief Yarns' position.
From within the department.
If that's what council wishes.
I mean, I'll make, and I'll add a little bit of clarity to it, maybe. I'll make a motion then that we begin to accept applications from internal candidates, and that we then ready to interview those.
Second that.
Just we exclude that outside.
To be accepting from
I second.
Okay. All in favor? All opposed?
Aye.
Nay.
Okay.
No? Is what he said?
I'm not sure.
Steve, one more time?
So
No.
no.
Okay, thank you.
Additional use. Three for Center Street.
We did that.
We did that.
We already did it.
The next one is the Woodridge Circle tree removal.
Yep, we have, we talked about this at the work session. We
Right.
have a company that will clean up the uprooted tree. And then, what they're assuming is that the roots, the base is gonna go back down because there would be a pretty big hole there. That'll go back down and then they'll grind the stump down. It was the best price.
Thank
For the
you.
1,200.
We have a second.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Josh. On the question,
It's a good price.
all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
I saw the tree.
Favors have it 6-0. And then your, Center Street Creek easements.
So we've had some movement on this. Mr. Parasol was here. He as of tomorrow, he's gonna be owning, he's gonna own 5 properties. We have 14 properties that are involved that we need an easement from. He'll have 4 of the properties. From another resident who is, she's interested, have a meeting time that we're trying to set up with the residents. So it will be myself, our engineers, and I'm trying to get everything. To set up the time. If you have any questions, this way we could answer questions. Yeah. On that. I got 2, one phone call and one person's after and what's involved. They want me to send them information. They have it notarized. They would give it to me. So far, we should probably have about 7 out of the 14
It's
so
moving
far.
in a
So
good direction then.
it's going pretty well.
Again, this is the grant, the $300,000, which we applied for. It's been in the works for a couple of years. We applied last year and it was denied because we didn't have the easements.
Right.
So it's 95% done.
Good.
Jen,
That's good.
half the people have responded. We only have 60 days left until we have to submit it.
Mhm.
So,
Oh,
I mean, I would recommend, maybe we can I would make a motion maybe to have the solicitor, if necessary, get involved with this. I know we don't want to spend money on lawyers if we don't have to. But again, this is a $300,000 project, whatever Jen needs in order to help get this done, I think we really should try to move forward with that.
Okay.
Would that be, do you think that would help, or if you had any, additional, if the solicitor was involved or anything else like that?
I deferred to Drew for what.
Yeah, I mean, I can draft just like a form letter, send out to the 7 remaining.
Yeah.
Or how the council wants me to proceed on it.
Whatever is necessary, just in order to get this.
Jen, you
ball
did send
rolling.
letters out to them though, right?
Yes.
And everything?
Yeah, certified letters, so I
Certified
know
letters.
all but I think 3 I have been signed and returned.
7 gotten back to us. And I spoke with the engineer,
Oh,
Michael
7
Simon.
did, didn't they?
7 did.
Did not, so 50-50.
Okay.
And Mike Fennick said if we get the stuff done quickly enough, he can revise the maps to have,
Oh,
change
sure.
the easements so we don't get easements from certain people.
Right.
So I'll make a motion to authorize the solicitor to help Jen, with the easements on the grant.
Yeah,
project.
they can work together on that. Okay.
I'll second that.
On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, carries. Under new business, shade tree volunteers. I think we have 2 sitting right here.
Watch coming to meetings, I'll tell you what. So
Shade tree
it actually, I had to send a shade tree application and to the person we had before, she apparently she wants to step down
Sure.
from it, so she's too busy. So we need to find a new volunteer for the tree committee, so anybody who has ideas or anything, be terrific. We work real good with Josh Harp, he's great, he's our arborist, but we need somebody to, a lot of scheduling paperwork, there's some some things that need to be taken care of.
Why don't you reach out to Gary Rosman? He's a designee now on the AAJRP,
Right, okay,
but that I could see that being something that maybe he would be interested in.
sure.
If that doesn't work, I'm gonna put it on the billboard. Or
That's what I was planning, the billboard, the Facebook page and online, yeah. Sure, I'll reach out to him first and then I'll do that.
Jen, is Mark Tafra still on the shade tree? He was on it in the beginning
don't-
with Molly. Phil-
Oh, yeah,
and
long
that
time
group.
ago, no, this is it, we don't, anybody,
There's
basically,
nobody.
so.
Oh, we'll reach out and see what we can.
Mhm. We have Josh Harp is the one who's making the big decisions when we get an application. Can this tree be cut down or does it need to be, have work done on it? So he is there for that. So it's not that we
Good.
have nobody there and he's really
Good.
quite important
Oh,
for
yeah.
that. But yeah, we still need a volunteer.
Okay, thank you, Jen. The next are solicitors report.
We just addressed the business on my report. So.
Okay,
It's done, yeah, beautiful.
good enough. Thank you, Jen. Okay, last item is our executive sessions. Prior, where our work session was 3:25:26. We had none during, none.
Wonder,
Good night.
good one. So one are wondering.
Oh, right. So all we need is a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.